This is Cliff Evans. I'll be talking with Joe L. Brown, general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, going in 5. Joe Brown, you've done many things to make the Pittsburgh Pirates the top-notch organization that it is. And your moves have not always been popular. For example, George Sisler had been in charge of scouting for the Pirates, but you had other thoughts, and you took him out of that front office and made him your batting coach with great success. Now, I'm impressed by one thing that you said about George Sisler, and that is that he was not intruding, shall we say, on the batter. As we all know, a baseball player who makes the big leagues is a strong personality. For anyone to try to change him, and sometimes can be difficult. But it's a wonderful idea what you did. Something else that you did, Joe Brown, you fired Bobby Bragan as manager because you felt the need for a change. And in his place, you named him as manager of the Pirates, a man whose entire career had been filled with struggles and failures. That man, of course, is Danny Murtaugh. Now, how did you pick Danny?
Well, I have to say very frankly, Cliff, that Danny's appointment was an interim appointment. Danny and I had been together at New Orleans for 3 years. I was president general manager down there, and he was the field manager. I always felt he possessed great potential as a major league manager, but he was too kind a human being. The milk of human kindness was too prevalent in his makeup. But someplace in the meantime, and I think it might have been managing a last-place club at Charleston, he found out that you've got to be tough. You can be kind and human, but at the same time, you've got to be tough, too. And I thought at that time that Danny was just going to fill in for the rest of the season, the rest of the 57 season. But he did such a great job, and he showed me, and I think anybody else who was around our club, that he had changed, that he had matured in that one particular department, and that was in his handling of men. He'd always been a great handler of men, but he'd always been a little too kind. He's still kind, but he's much more firm. He knows now that what is good for the club, the individual has to suffer perhaps occasionally, but there's a great deal of difference in personality between Danny and Bobby Bragan. This is not said to be critical of Bobby Bragan, because I think he's a highly intelligent baseball man. But Danny has done a fine job for us, and of course we're very pleased that it did work out.
Joe, is there any truth in the story that when you named Danny Murtaugh as an interim manager in the office with you, you told him it was interim, that as he walked away from you towards the door, he turned to you, someone he's known for years, someone that he's respected, a friend, and said to you, Joe, I'm a better manager than you think I am. In other words, a man had confidence in himself. Is that true?
It's exactly true. Those are the very words he used. It was in Chicago where we made the change, and it was in my hotel room. And he understood what I was getting about. I told him no promise for next year, and as he walked out, he said, I'm a better manager than you think I am, Joe. And he was dead right. He's been a fine manager, I think one of the good ones in the game.
Well, merely to keep the record straight, you thought of him as manager. That meant you had confidence in him, and he went all the way for you. Several years ago, you were named by the Sporting News as the Major League Executive of the Year. Subsequently, your Pittsburgh team brought you the National League pennant and then the World Series. What, more than anything else, would you like to accomplish in baseball?
I'd like to do what the Yankees have done, Cliff, and that is establish, shall we say, a dynasty, a succession of winners. I think you don't prove anything in my capacity by winning once. Luck could have a great deal to do with it. The luck in selecting the right individual at the right time, as Danny Murtaugh, for example, or players having good years together, or making maybe one or two lucky trades. But when you've established yourself like a George Weiss or a Branch Rickey over a period of years where you win and win and win, where you have perhaps your club falls off occasionally, but you then have enough intelligence to build back up. I've got that in front of me. Our club, as you know, went from first to sixth. I want to be first again. I want to be first for a number of years. When I say I want to, I mean the organization that I'm fortunate enough to work with, the Pittsburgh Club. That's what I have as my hope, to be with a club, to be with an organization that wins for a number of years.
Well, I think it's reasonable. I think it's possible. Certainly you're one of baseball's superior general managers, a man with much experience, a man with much know-how despite your young years. And so to you, as always, Joe Brown, general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, all good wishes for 1962 and the years ahead. This is Cliff Evans reporting from Fort Myers, Florida, the spring training camp of the Pittsburgh Pirates.